Good morning, role players. Can you all hear me out there? Good. Let's get into it. This is In and Out of Character, a podcast about role playing and role players. Oh, no, I get it. I once, I listened to you guys one time, and I was like, oh, God, I really like the way he voices Vec, and I wish I could do that. And I'm pretty sure he goes, oh, God, my voice sucks.
See, doing weird voices for me is a little bit better because then it's like, at least if they hate it, they don't hate my real voice.
I don't hate your voice. I don't hate your jokey voice. I like all of y'all's voices, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that's why I liked playing Frankie though, because I could just go talk like this, and then it didn't matter.
I really liked your portrayal of Misty.
Oh yeah,
The fog. That was my favorite bit. I'll be honest with you.
we needed Misty in the game, and that was how we got it.
What was that?
We just needed Misty back. She'd been gone for a while, so we needed Misty in the game, and that was how I did it. And I just made her an asshole thing of fog.
It was great. I loved her. It was a sad campaign. It was a good campaign. You did really good with that one.
Thank you.
Like, that was an absolute blast to listen to. And I've been wanting to tell you that for a long time now. I'm just awkward, and I don't know how to compliment people without sounding weird.
Yeah, I don't know how to take compliments, and I don't know how to make compliments either, because I always feel like they're gonna think I'm lying for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
Or
I know, because if we compliment people, what is our opinion?
Yeah, no. That's why I don't like getting gifts in person. Because even if I really like it, I'm like, oh my God, this is so awesome. But it comes across as like sarcastic. So I don't like it.
Give me a second. Some of that might make it into the podcast.
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie. That was the worst intro I've ever had.
I don't know.
To recording. So at this point, I would have already started, but we just got right into talking. I'm so sorry.
Oh, it's okay.
Oh God, now I'm gonna have to get into the like the narrator voice. You know what I'm talking about, like the interviewer voice. Okay, hold on. All right, so I might have to do this intro a couple of times. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. I'm not prepared at all, and it makes me feel better that you're not totally prepared too.
Oh, that's fine. All right, and a 1 and a 2 and welcome to the podcast. Nope, I can't do it with a straight face.
No, that sounds good. Just welcome to the podcast.
Welcome to the podcast. As you already know, I've been talking to Stevie this entire time. Stevie is from the Roleplay Rejects, who I have adored for a very long time now.
Well, yeah, I just realized there wasn't any sort of introduction.
Yeah, not at all.
Hi, I'm Stevie from Roleplay Rejects.
Stevie, I've talked a lot about you with Damien.
Yeah.
God, it's so good to have you on this podcast.
I'm excited.
I legitly earlier I wanted just to start this whole thing going Stevie.
Oh no, that feels a lot of pressure now.
Oh, I'm sorry. Not that I'm trying to put any pressure on you.
That's okay.
like Stevie says, Stevie is from the Roleplay Rejects. One of the first people I ever reached out to and talked to during all this crazy stuff, and graciously let me put their stuff up on my website. Thank you again for that.
Yeah, it was awesome having you reach out because it kind of like led to us being more comfortable branching out in other directions, talking to other people in the community. So
Yeah,
thank
I
you.
am I am told that when I reach out to people, I can be a little bit awkward, and I am horribly sorry about that.
No, that's okay. We're all kind of a little bit awkward.
So tell me about yourself. Just about who you are.
Uh, I don't know. A large majority of my identity is I'm a mom because I stay at home. I don't really, I don't work, so I just that's pretty much my identity is I'm a mom and I'm a nerd and a serial hobbyist in terms of like I do my nails, I do stuff with resin, and I play nerd.
You
I
just
play
play
video
nerd stuff.
games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, tabletop games.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty much
Well,
it.
yeah, parenthood already takes up so much time.
Yeah,
Um, like you hardly have any time for any real fun, and I say that. Oh, well, I say that coming from as a single standpoint. Like I get to
yeah,
go out and have my fun sometimes, but most of the time it's with the baby boy. And then the other time, the other half of that time, when I am not with him, I do try to spend my time role playing. But role playing can take just such an enormous amount of energy and time.
yeah. It's nuts. Like it just takes hours, and if you're planning a campaign or like in terms of tabletop RPGs, then it takes twice as long almost sometimes, and you're like, oh, it's a lot. And I've tried planning when I'm like when I was with at home just doing stay at home mom stuff, but it's like, but then you got your kid constantly asking like, oh hey, can I have food? So it makes it sound like I don't do anything with my child, but it's just kids need a lot of attention, so it's hard. I can't imagine. I don't know how you do it.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Oh
a
no, it's with a miracle and a prayer and a lot of chicken nuggets. Just so many chicken
oh
nuggets.
god, I wish she ate chicken nuggets.
It's a toss up with this one. I don't know why. So sometimes he likes chicken nuggets, sometimes he doesn't like chicken nuggets, sometimes he likes ramen, sometimes he doesn't like ramen, and he goes back and forth with this all the time.
Yeah, she has like honestly, there's probably like 20 foods she'll eat.
Mhm.
And even those, it's not consistent.
Mhm. Well, let me ask you this: how do you get the time to plan for any role playing at all while taking care of the kids all the time?
Um, I kind of had to like this isn't really something that like a single parent like you could do, but I'm lucky to have Damien available to like I'm just like, "Hey, I need an hour." Or what I do is I just don't actually plan anything and I just wing it.
Mhm.
That was mostly my method with Bunkers and Badasses was just
Oh, you just went for it?
yeah.
That's pretty much how I do it too. I have a starting point with my campaigns, and then after the starting point, I pretty much just fly by the seat of my pants when I'm GMing. I just what they do, I just come up with on the spot.
Yeah, it's hard because I know I have a weirdly unpredictable group, so I had to because it was just the boys that were
Hmm.
playing,
Hmm.
so it was especially chaotic,
Hmm.
and I had to consider that. So I was just like, I have points in my campaign that I want us to reach,
Hmm.
and as long as they get to all these points eventually, and then they'll finish the game.
Oh, it was fun. It was real fun all the way through. I should probably clarify to the listeners, we're talking about the Bunkers and Badasses actual play that they did over on the Roleplay Rejects um podcast for what was it, a couple of months ago?
Yeah,
Oh man, it was a blast. It was a good blast.
I had a lot of fun. I was like really stressed those couple
Uh-huh.
months though.
I bet. I bet. I don't know what was up with the fair. What happened? Wait, were the boys? I'm sorry, forgive me. Were the boys ever like? Did we get a conclusion with the boys?
Oh, like my boys, like
No,
my
with
boys.
yeah, my boys.
Yeah. No. I mean, they died. That was the implication. Was that
No.
they were
This is
dead.
why I didn't want to. This is why I couldn't have Wes on first because I'd have to start bugging him about.
Yeah. No. The implication was just like his group of boys.
They're gone.
Yeah. I don't know.
My boys.
He just rolled and got trauma, and that was so he just had to be sad about it all the time.
Hmm. So how did you feel you did adapting to their playstyle? Because like you're like me, you just kind of go for it when the story's coming. How did you feel you did adapting to their playstyle?
I feel like it did okay. It helped that like the game itself was chaotic in nature. Like
Mm-hmm.
there's a bunch of tables that you roll stuff on for it. Uh, and so I think I was able to adapt pretty well. And because
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have like a really like a path that they had to take, I
Mm-hmm.
was prepared to just make shit up. Like Misty, I made up the day of.
Right.
So
And Bunkers and Badasses is a fun game to run too. It's real fun. It feels fun to play and it feels fun to run.
I'm just bummed I didn't get to play it, but it
Mm-hmm.
was really fun running it. I
Oh.
specifically wanted a game that was like lighter on the more flexible, not lighter, but more flexible on the rules.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, and y'all guys had a good time with it.
Yeah.
I had no idea what was happening from the get go. I tried, like at points, I was like, I've lost the story completely, but I still feel like I know where it's heading, kind of maybe.
Yeah. I'm glad I blindsided them with some of the stuff at the end though.
Oh, it was fun. It was great. What are you? So, I should ask you. Like, I would love to keep talking about that too, but I also want to ask you, like, how did you get started into role playing? Like, when's the first time you got into it?
Well, if you want to get technical, the very
Mm.
first amount like part of role playing that I got into was like the tiniest amount of LARPing when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Like my grandma brought us to this Renaissance fair, and then like there was LARPing and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and like I remember this boy that was cute was LARPing, and so I was like, I'm gonna do that too.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So doing that, and I had a lot of fun, but we had to go home. So we
That's
weren't
fair.
camping there like the other people were. So we had to go home. But outside of that, uh, probably just similar to Damien's story. It was just where there was dicks all over the table. It was that same time. I don't remember if he said anything about that in the podcast.
He did, but I can't remember the story. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Yeah, it was just like a bunch of like someone was like, "Hey, let's play this," and he was like, "All right," and I was married to him, so I went with to check it out, and it was very different than how I thought it was gonna be. It just I wasn't ready for it, and I spent like 2 hours making a character,
Oh boy,
a
that's the
D
best part of the game.
a D&D character. So it's like, why did it take me that long? I don't know. I don't know why it took me that long. There's like a lot of easy ways to do it, but I just made it difficult, I guess.
Mm-hmm. The first time I played D&D 4.0, I knew exactly what I was gonna do. I just went straight to the Dragonborn. I slapped that down. I took the Paladin class. I slapped that on top of it, and I said, "This is my character," and that was it. So I get it.
Yeah,
I
now I'm a lot more like, okay, I guess this sounds cool. I like build my backstory and then I build a character.
Mhm.
I just put an absurd amount into my backstory. Doesn't matter if it's going to get used or not.
I did. I learned a lesson like real early that no matter how cool your character was at level 1, they could always get themselves killed by a
Oh my
goblin.
gosh. Yes.
So
If luck is not on your side, anything can kill you.
yeah, so I after that, after my character got brutally murdered by by a bunch of slimes, I realized that it didn't matter that he used to kill dragons and stuff like that because now he's dead to slimes.
Yeah, I died by falling one time. I just fell to my death.
What's the best death you've had in tabletop so far?
Honestly, I haven't really had. I think that's the only time I died. I was trying to be a spider. I was in my spider form because I
Oh,
was a druid,
get
but I
squished.
failed a climb check and
Mm-hmm.
I fell and died. Well, there was also this weird like mushroom thing that was attacking me,
Mm-hmm.
which is why I also like took damage before, which is why I was able to fall. But that's the only death that I've had. I'm pretty cautious with my players, probably like annoyingly so sometimes, but
Mm-hmm.
I almost died in our Pathfinder game by my mom.
By your mother?
Ah, like
Wow.
just I was fighting my mom. Like in the like I wasn't playing with my mom. I like in the story I had to fight my mom because of
It's just, okay. I'm gonna be honest. I was sitting here. I was like, "Wait, did your mom come and start yelling at you while you were playing a game for some reason?"
no, in game. Like my character has mommy issues
Mm-hmm.
and then they did like a battle
Mm-hmm.
and then I won though. I was so close to dying, but my animal companion died.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the when I was a spider is the only death that I've actually had myself, I think. Thankfully.
Sorry, my son's in the background trying to be a musician right now.
It's
Speaking
okay.
of parenthood, he's giving me the glare too. Anyways, man, it's so difficult to enjoy this hobby with children sometimes. Oh, I love my baby boy to death, but boy,
Yeah. A
does
real
he.
yeah.
Mhm.
A real game changer for us has been like we have we have to hire a babysitter, but we have a separate area where Avison is not
Mhm.
to play tabletop RPGs.
They want the clickety clackies, and I get it, man. I really do. anyways, parenthood troubles with role playing aside. So, what other so the story dicks out. That's how a game happened.
Yeah.
Uh, besides for that, like, how did you like progress into it? Did you just really fully just embrace the tabletop community at that point, or?
I didn't at first because I was like, wow, this is weird and not what I thought it was.
Mm-hmm.
So I just stuck to Magic the Gathering because I was like, nah, I don't know if I'm into that. But like Damien continued to play. And then eventually he was like, oh, like we had friends over. We had a whiteboard as a table and it was cool. And
Mm-hmm.
so our house kind of became the house that people came to for stuff to hang out. And
Oh,
so
that's my favorite kind of house.
we'd have sessions there. Sometimes I'd play, sometimes I wouldn't. But and then I got more and more into it. And then we moved to Maryland and I got even more into it once we got
Mm-hmm.
more friends that were like super excited about it. And then Damien was like, let's podcast. And I was like, yeah, okay. Okay.
I was actually gonna ask that. I was gonna ask you how the podcast got first started with were you the one who wanted that? Oh wait, no, you said Damien wanted
Yeah.
asked you if you wanted to do it.
Yeah. Damien was the one that told me that like that's something he wanted to do. And I was like, I can't remember. I think I was fully on board. I was like, yeah, like if we can like financially make this work out, yes,
Mm-hmm.
let's do it. And then, yeah, here we are, like a year and a half later.
Oh yeah.
Two
Oh,
years
it's.
later, technically, from the idea, because it took
Mm-hmm.
a while to get a business thing.
Mm-hmm. How do you feel about it still? Like, are you still all in? Like, are you have? Nah, I'm not gonna ask you. I don't want to ask you if you have any regrets about it. But it's like, do you have any back feelings about it, or do you still feel strong about it?
I love it. It's like we just, it's not, I don't know how to describe it. but it's like mandated fun, kind of.
Yeah, I get it.
Like I enjoy it. And like
Oh
yeah, it
yeah.
was really stressful when I was running games and like sometimes you're like not really in the mood, but then like you start playing and you get into it. And so it's
Yeah.
nice to have this like scheduled friendship every week. And you're like you're going to have a good time and it's also nice getting more comfortable with different systems and like learning about different systems and the lores behind some of them and
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's a lot that's negative about it except we have to like pay for a babysitter.
Yeah. I mean,
Editing is not like
what?
bad. I just don't it's just
No,
not
I get it.
exciting to me.
No, I get it. I get it.
And I have to hear my voice. I'm like, ugh, no.
I hate editing myself too. Like we're getting right back into that conversation of God,
Yeah.
I cannot stand my own voice when I'm recording. I don't know how people can listen to this podcast. I can hardly listen to myself.
Yeah, and I think it's because I know that I can be particular about voices. Like, there's podcasts I will not listen to.
Mm-hmm.
I refuse to listen to them because I don't like someone's voice, and it feels mean. But it's like I don't know, my ears don't like it, and I'm like everyone thinks that about me for sure.
Mm-hmm. So now I know who you are. I know
Yeah,
your role playing story, your history, through a lot of degrees now.
yeah,
So I, at this point, I like to ask our, how should I say? There's a question of the week that the
yeah,
last person asks that you get to answer. Let me find that right quick.
yeah. I looked at it, and then I immediately forgot what it was, so I never thought about it.
I had forgotten about it entirely. Hold on. I am prepared for this. If your character was dropped in the real world, what would they do?
Well,
And I know you had all those characters from Monkeys and Badasses. I'm sorry, I lost my head there for a second.
yeah.
But I was gonna ask you what your like most recent characters were.
Well, my most recent character is Vera. Vera. I don't know how to pronounce it. She's just kind of like just a big, tall, beautiful lady who can fight stuff. That's she doesn't have a lot of personality, honestly. When I think of like my character, I think of the character that we play not on mic in our Pathfinder Kingmaker campaign. And his name is Isla. He's a half orc that largely looks human. I think he would just blend in just fine. He would probably love it, depending on where in the country or in the world, I guess, he ended up. But like, if he ended up in Maryland, he'd be fine. He would. I don't know. He spends most of his time in the wilderness, though, so that would be a little
Mm-hmm.
city. Wouldn't it be great?
I mean, if I was dropped into the human world, I would just stay in the nature too.
Yeah, I
At
mean,
least
like
I would
you can
try
just
to.
go into the forest.
Mm-hmm.
Like his whole thing is like he's a hunter, so
Mm-hmm.
and a bear
Asha.
technically.
But oh my goodness, I'm so bad with these names. Papier on our Discord said Asha would be really disappointed at first. Then she get 75 Twitter accounts, all dedicated to spread misinformation and trolling, just to watch the world burn. Discotech Priest said Dartambe would 100% open an upscale nightclub somewhere. And of course, our friend Verain said that they would be probably one of the bouncers. It's always fun to have these sort of conversations with friends sometimes. What's the weirdest campaign you've played so far?
Weirdest campaign I've played.
Yeah. Because you've been playing for a good while now, right?
Yeah,
Good while.
depends on what you mean by weirdest. Probably Fallout.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I mean, like I was a husk of a person physically, and just the whole idea of like this place that we're places that we're familiar with.
Mm-hmm. What are some of the campaigns that you actually like? What are some of the games that you really want to play? Because there's a lot of campaigns and
Ooh.
settings and core robooks out there.
Yeah, there's this one called Necrobiotic
Mm-hmm.
that we pre-ordered, and I'm super excited. I'm wanting to run the game. It's the whole concept is they need workers, like just society just needs workers.
Mm-hmm.
So what they do is when people die, they like make them into like partial, I don't remember what it's called, but like where they're partially robots, but they use their bodies, the corpses, to create workers essentially. Like they're mindless workers. And I'm not sure where the campaigns go on that, but I'm really excited about it because it just sounds like an awful, awful
Mm-hmm.
concept to work with. And I'm like
It's gonna
in
be like Scorn, maybe.
like
Have you
Scorn?
seen Scorn?
No.
Scorn?
I don't know what
Oh
Scorn
my
is.
god, it is so weird. It is so weird. I will
Is it
show that to you later.
what is Scorn? Is it like a movie? Is it a
No, it's a video game, but
game?
it's
Oh,
yeah, it's a really fleshy,
what?
necrotic game.
Ew.
It's not what you think. It
Yeah.
is not what you think, but it
I,
is very weird, and it kind of reminds me of what you were just talking about.
yeah. I don't know if I'm like explaining it right because we saw it at a con and I was like, wow, that's a pretty book. And then she told us about the concept. And I was like, wow, that's a cool concept. I want it. And so we're still, I think the book's supposed to be coming soon. But yeah, I'm super excited because it's going to be super morbid. And I guess I like that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm also excited for when we eventually play the Avatar RPG.
Oh god, yes, I want to play the Avatar RPG so bad.
I'm so stoked. We have it. We have like the collector or whatever. We have
Mm-hmm.
all sorts of shit that goes with it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm so excited, but it's probably going to be like 6 months at least before we
Mm-hmm.
play it. If we
That was
don't,
our first activity together. Even though that by the time we both pre-ordered it on Kickstarter, we had not met by that point.
yeah. Oh, did you get? Do you
Mm-hmm.
have it?
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
nice.
Oh yeah, I was talking to Dave about that. I pre-ordered it too, and I have it all behind me. It's this nice, beautiful map and the
Yes.
beautiful hardcover books.
And the
Love
dice.
them.
I'm
Mm-hmm.
obviously I'm a dice goblin. I'm just a sucker for dice. I make dice. I just love it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, and I know it's not the most important thing, but it does. I am a sucker for pretty dice. So
Oh, me too. I really am. I'm really excited to play that game. I'm excited to do an AP of that game. I have every intentions on starting up an AP on this channel, on this podcast site.
yeah, I think
Um,
Damien was telling me about that.
oh yes, yes, you and Damien both. I can't wait. I'm very excited. I don't want to talk about it right now, but I am very excited about it.
Yeah, he told
Um,
me I was a part of some plan, and I was like, okay,
oh
I
man,
didn't
I'll
know
tell you
that.
off camera. I'll tell you off
All
camera
right.
so no one can hear us. All right. But I love the way you guys are doing y'all's AP, y'all's actual plays.
Yeah,
Like,
I don't listen to our podcast. I should.
mm-hmm.
I just don't listen to podcasts in general. I have listened to several of yours, like when I'm working with resin. I'll just put on your podcast and
Oh,
I'll
thank you.
yeah. And I was like, hey, I just like the podcast where it's like you're just talking, you're just chilling, and that's kind
Mm-hmm.
of what ours is like. You're just sitting at a table with friends. So I really like how ours has turned out, like that it has that sort of feel to it because
Yeah.
I don't know, like Damien likes some of the more like high production value type of ones as
Mm-hmm.
well, but that's just not my thing.
Do one of each. Do one high reduction and do one just chill.
That's so much effort.
Oh god, yeah, it's so much effort.
I
But hey,
already
if you
hate
like it,
editing.
if you love it, if you love the game, you love the game.
Yeah, maybe in the future, maybe that's something we could do later.
No, I get it. I understand because it's a lot with what I'm trying to do right now. I'm
Yeah.
starting up a whole nother podcast. I already have a small child to deal with, like he is doing right now. He is currently eating me because he's a crab. Um, that's he's a crab. Um, Don't ask me why crabs are eating people. But I lost my mind, Jaden. See, this is what happens. What were we talking about?
We were talking about the podcast. I don't know. Shit.
Podcast.
I'm so sorry. I have like zero short-term memory.
No, it's okay. I'm just easily distracted.
We record and I immediately forget everything that happened. It was so much worse when I was running the game too. I was like, oh. Because at least when I'm playing, I take notes.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I have to do as well. I go stupid hardcore into it, and I shouldn't do that, but I do that.
It's just, I don't remember shit unless I take notes.
Mm-hmm. Same. I track how much arrows I have. I track how much gold I have. How much stupid weight I have.
I just
You give me a statistic, I'll add it up.
I buy an obscene amount of arrows, so I never have to keep track of it. I'm like, I have arrows. Trust me, I have arrows.
I just have arrows. I always have arrows.
They're there. Just trust.
What kind of if you could pick any fantasy world out there, doesn't matter if it's Horizon, doesn't matter if it's Finding Nemo, what kind of tabletop do you wish would be out there? Like, are you hoping for?
Ooh. Damn, I've thought about this before, but I'm like completely blanking on it.
Mm-hmm.
Because like Horizon would be dope because I'd be like, wow, Horizon, I love that. I love that game. I love video game. Why would I not love any other game? That's Horizon. Trying to think. Like what for a tabletop role-playing game?
Yeah.
I know it's like probably because it's the last show I watched, but probably like The Last of Us would be really cool. Or any sort of zombie type of game.
Uh-huh.
And I know that those exist. I know like Zombicide has a role-playing
game
associated with it. I'm trying to think, and it's hard because I don't watch a lot of stuff other than
or just video games, something like that. I know there's like a Pokemon one. I wish there was like a really, because I've seen the Pokemon one. I've seen one that's a Pokemon one and it looks pretty good, but it's not as in depth as I would like it to be. Yeah. So I wish there was just like a more in depth Pokemon RPG game out there. I know that's really stupid, but you know, that's me, man.
Sometimes you just want more. You sound like Damien. I like to keep it simple because I am simple. So and it gets too complicated. I'm just like, all right, I'm going to play the least complicated kind of character possible.
Same sometimes. Like when I am playing a game with some friends, and I know the game's going to go on for a while, and I'm just not going to be in the right attention span, but I still want to join them. I'll just pick a character that hits, man. I'll hit them. I'll hit them good, Captain, but that's all I'm gonna do.
Like Pathfinder, I don't fuck with magic because, like,
oh man,
no, I don't get it, and I don't want to be that person that's like, wow, I was supposed to pick spells for the day. I've just been, doing them, you know. These are the ones I'm allowed to do. I thought I could just do them when really I have to pick certain spells, or I have to like, or I'm not allowed to. I don't know what classes are allowed to do what, and it's so complicated to me, and that's just not how my brain works. So I try to keep it as simple as possible. I'm a ranger. I shoot shit, and I have an animal buddy, or had an animal buddy, because it died. Damien killed it. Actually, my mom killed it, technically, but whatever.
Oh, no, I get it. Keeping it stupidly simple sometimes is the best way to keep me invested.
Yeah, and especially learning new games, because I know Damien's going to play some complicated character who does all sorts of weird shit. And then I'm like, all right, I will play the person who goes bonk. You're dead.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You know what's stupid though? So I know I just sat there and I said shit, what did I just say? My mind is blanking. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. You're talking about like attention span, and then you said something was stupid.
Oh yeah.
I don't.
So something this is dumb. I know I just said that I would like to keep things stupidly simple to keep me invested. I also fit very well into the complex characters. I just don't want to do it. That's really it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just more. I could do it if I really wanted to. I know I could
Mm.
understand them. I know I could do them. I'm not like a dumb person. I just have to read it and then play through it a little bit. But my issue is like I can't read things, make it make sense. So
Mm.
just reading from the rule book, I'll be like, what the hell does that mean? And I'll completely misunderstand the rules and not play it wrong, and then be like, well, I don't want this character because that's not what I thought it was. That's why I avoid it, because I know that will happen. That's just not how I learn.
What's been your favorite system so far? I have already asked this one.
Hmm. You said the weirdest one, not
Oh
my
shit.
favorite.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
I mean, the weirdest ones are my favorite. No, but you go ahead.
It's hard because I'm one of those people that's like, oh, the one I'm doing right now.
Mm-hmm.
That's typically like that. Like, but I think honestly, I really liked Star Wars.
Mm-hmm. Oh man, I never got to play the one that y'all played.
Like, I was super into it. I like it's obnoxious that they have very specific dice that you can't really buy anywhere else.
Yeah, yeah.
But I like the dice. I like all the way the skill tree set. I don't like that it's like a bunch of pages.
Mm-hmm.
Just like physically how it's set up, but I like the way you can do it. You can have like a completely different character even if you have the same. You're both the fucking enforcer something. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know if that's the right game. I'm mixing up all the games.
Okay.
But you can go down like the same skill tree but have a completely different character.
Mm-hmm.
And I just really like that. And I like having so many options for a similar character.
Mm-hmm. You know what dynamic I think y'all would fit into very well, or what game you would fit into very well with y'all's dynamic?
Hmm.
Kids on bikes. Do you know about that one?
Bikes. No, I've heard of
Kids
it.
on kids on bikes.
No, I have to look it up. What is kids? What is it?
Basically, it's your typical kids on bike story, where you got four kids on a bike roaming around town, solving crimes, beating up monsters, etc. So forth. Think Stranger Things. Think it.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like we would probably do. There's a Girl Scout one. I don't remember
Please
what
tell
it's
me you
called.
guys are gonna do a Girl Scouts.
I we ordered it. We
That'd be
ordered it.
great. I
I don't
can't wait for
remember.
that
It's like
one.
a horror version of like Girl Scouts. I can't remember what
Oh
it's called.
man. I just want a cute game where you're just being a Girl Scout. What's wrong with that?
I think we would do well with that too. Just go like with mall kids, we were just going about our day. It was like a super normal day for teenagers. And that was all it was. I'm so irritated. I can't find out what it was. But yeah, we ordered that horror Girl Scout tabletop RPG, and I'm super excited about it. We have so many games. It's hard to remember what ones I'm most excited about because we just have so many that we want to play that we're just not going to play half of them, at least not on mic.
Is there a specific topic you want to have, or is there a conversation you just want to talk about it?
I don't know. I guess I just kind of want like maybe talking about finding a nice group, like a
Mm-hmm.
good group to play with,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm really proud of our group and the way that we've eventually found a good. We've had to like take people to IKEA. I
Mm-hmm.
know that doesn't make sense. Damien might have explained to you. It's a thing. That's what we call it when we're like, we gotta talk to them and we're kind of like pushing them out a little. And I don't know if that's
Okay.
it. There's a lot of context that makes it make sense. But
Don't worry, it's okay.
but
Well, to answer your to talk about what you were asking about or wanted to know about, finding a group, unfortunately, you've got to be very social. It depends in which way though, because there's lots of different ways to role play. You have MMO role playing, you have tabletop role playing, you have LARPing, you have cosplaying. I consider role playing to a
yeah,
degree. So it really sort of depends on which avenue you want to go to, but all of them requires you to be social. So,
yeah, it's helped a lot because Damien just happens to be his work friends were like also nerds, and so it just
mhm,
worked out that way. And we got lucky, and like if it didn't work, we're just kind of like eventually distanced ourselves, and we've eventually built a really great group. But I'm like, I know that I've had a different experience than a lot of people have had because you hear a lot about people having like DMs they just don't really get along with, or I don't know a lot
mhm,
about like the online stuff because I couldn't ever do that. I am not outgoing enough for that.
mhm. Well, the so besides for like tensions between people and relationships like that, there are ways like you can give to the GM and the other players. Like there's a whole safety list out there that you can present to players,
Oh
and they'll
yeah.
just trade their safety list around. Then that helps people be comfortable with one another, especially in a tabletop sense.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like we've really lucked out and I've just kind of like fell into a good group.
Mm-hmm.
But then you hear about like I don't know, some guy, I don't know why I think it's Canada, but I feel like it's in Canada. Has like a decades long game going on.
Mm-hmm. Oh yes, you hear about that stuff.
And
Woof.
it's like, how? Like I love my friends and I know that they don't get together every week, so it's different. But it's just like so cool to be being able to do stuff like that and like what's happening in that story.
A decade
Like
year old campaign. Oh man.
like
I would hate to read the show notes on that one.
oh gosh, yeah, and just the guy running it. I don't know how he does it. Like you have to have so much imagination.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Just keep coming up with new things. I mean, at one point, I'd just start copying the plots of movies.
Yeah, just see how close you can get to the actual movie plot before they figure it out.
Make a game out of it.
And then you just change the ending so you're like, "No, no, no, it's not the same. It's not the same."
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, do you have any questions for me, Miss Stevie?
I
Anything
don't
like you'd like to know?
I don't think so. I don't know.
Okay. I just did that question up if someone has like a question about the community or something about DMing or MMO role playing or something like that.
No, I don't really have a question so much as I just think like the MMO role playing is cool and like but
Mm-hmm.
it's like in a way that's not something I could ever do just cuz I don't like those games. I don't like
Oh, I get
playing
it.
online. I just don't.
Mm-hmm.
The closest I'll get is playing with Damien on the couch, like next to each other
Mm-hmm.
online, but not like groups. And I just think it's really cool and it's like this whole community. And it just sounds awesome for what I've heard on like your podcasts and stuff.
Oh, goodness gracious! You build good long friendships with people through through these things, but like you said, it requires you to be social
Yeah.
on the internet.
Yeah.
Anyways, all right. Well, thank you for coming on, Miss Stevie. I appreciate you. I think we've gone on for long enough. I'm so sorry for this. This episode's
Okay.
probably going to be a short one, and I'm
Oh,
sorry about that.
I have a question. Do you need a question of the week?
Oh yes, we're about to get there.
Okay.
At this point, I was going to say you can plug yourself and everything that you love, and we'll put it into the show notes.
After. Okay. I'm Stevi. I'm on the podcast Roleplay Rejects. We try out a bunch of different RPGs that aren't like the normal like D&D and Pathfinder kind of games.
Mm-hmm.
So we get to try out different systems. And also we're going to be at Nova Open this year. It's originally was a like small wargaming, like a barbecue charity event thing, and now it's gotten a lot bigger. We're gonna be there running some games. I'm just hanging out, and that's
say hello.
End of August. Yeah, that's pretty much all I have to plug.
Okay. Like I said, I appreciate you coming on. Feel free to ask the new question of the week. What you got for us?
I don't know if it's like a unique thing to like have like a lot of characters, but it's kind of a two-part. Which of your characters would be the most successful as a villain? And what would they do if they were a villain? Like what would be their villain origin story, basically?
Oh man, I'm gonna have fun answering that one next week. So much fun answering that question.
Yeah, I had a lot of
long.
I put a lot of thought into it.
All
I was
right.
like, I know I have to ask a question.